Hey guys, quick little rant video here. So as everyone is aware, Halo 1 came to PC basically out of nowhere on March 3rd, with no release date announced or heads up, and the launch was pretty underwhelming. For starters, MCC on PC had a relatively low population right before CE came out, and the fact 343 didn't really build up much hype for CE didn't do much to help this issue. Sure, the first day of the game launched it peaked at around 34,000 players, but I feel like that population could have been a lot bigger. I don't really blame 343 for the population drop-off that occurred after launch, but nonetheless this game launched in an absolutely unacceptable state. I'm not very knowledgeable of the engine, but I've seen videos and tweets where people demonstrated that the bullet spread in the game, particularly on the Magnum, is way worse at higher frame rates than it is at lower frame rates, and that's just embarrassing. I get that it's an old engine, and the game was meant to run at 30 frames on a console, and I also know that the gearbox port it's based off of was just not very good, but the fact you are putting yourself at a disadvantage for playing the game at a high frame rate just takes a lot of the reason you would play Halo on PC in the first place anyway. If you don't lock the game to 60 frames per second, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage, and that's just not okay for a game on PC released in 2020. There's other major issues with the game too, mainly the announcer not working properly. In Slayer, this is just annoying and it's not really a huge problem, but in Capture the Flag, sometimes the enemy team can pick up the flag and the announcer won't say anything about it. Now this may not sound like a big deal, but remember that CE doesn't have the same flag indicators as later games do, so you really rely on the announcer to tell you what's going on with your flag. So there's always a possibility that someone can just walk into your base, take your flag, and then by the time the announcer in CE finally does start to kick in, it's way too late. That can be really game changing. Less serious things are the fact that, the sound quality for the original effects has been downgraded from the Gearbox port. I think Late Night Gaming had a video showing this, and I've also noticed now that in every game I get into, when I go to the post-game stats, the spree counter that tells you what your best spree was doesn't work. It always displays as 0 kills. Now, I'm aware this is nitpicking, and I don't really care that these issues are there that much. I just wanted to point out that they're in the game. But on the Xbox, though, it's a completely different story. The Xbox received a pretty huge update for the game sometime after CE came out on PC, and I've heard several people say that the frame rate in Halo 3 was affected by this update, and the game doesn't run at a good frame rate anymore at all. And that's pretty significant. So someone that doesn't even play CE, someone that maybe only cares about Halo 3, is having to deal with an update for a game they don't care about, an update they didn't ask for, ruining their game. Personally, I haven't played on the Xbox since CE dropped on PC, so I personally cannot speak for how bad it is. But there's definitely a lot of people out there saying that after this update came out, Halo 3 just started to run like absolute trash. This next part is a bit subjective, so I just want to make it clear that I'm only stating my opinion here. Overall, I don't think 343 has handled MCC on PC that well. I think launching with Reach was a mistake, regardless of how you feel about Reach, whether it be your favorite Halo game or your least favorite Halo game. From a multiplayer perspective and looking at population retention, Halo 3 is simply the fan favorite Halo game, and is the most popular game on MCC by far. I think Halo 3, had it been given a more competitive focus to compete with other titles on PC like CSGO, would have had the healthiest population retention out of any Halo game to launch with. But even if 343's priority was a single-player campaign being accessible and they weren't focused on the multiplayer, I don't think it's best for newcomers to be introduced to Reach as their first game, like even if you just ignore the multiplayer. I know this is an anecdotal example, but I have a much easier time getting people who have never played Halo into the game with 1 and 2, because I think the single player in those games offers a more natural introduction to the series. And even though Reach is a prequel, we all had no problem understanding the story in 1 and 2 when we played those games, and they take place after Reach did, so I don't really buy the argument that they need to release them in chronological order according to the story, especially since I feel like Reach requires some level of understanding of the Halo universe in order to be put into context. And a lot of my friends who are new to Halo often wind up just not caring about Reach's storyline, and I don't think Reach's storyline is bad, but I don't think a newcomer would enjoy it, just from my own personal experience. I'm sure there are people out there who have played Halo Reach's first Halo game and loved it, but I'm speaking for what I believe to be true for most people. And keep in mind, this is mostly just anecdotal, and it's just my opinion. Anyway, guys, I think that's the end of this rant. I don't really make a lot of content, but I plan to make more in this format. And I'm new to this, so I'd appreciate any feedback in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on how Halo MCC on PC should have been handled, and yeah, hope you guys stick around for my next rant video. Peace out.